All right, let's do it. It's the little 4-game Friday slate. How to make some updates. And honestly, we got to watch the news all the way up until what time is kick tonight? I assume it's at 6, right? 6 Lord's time zone. You get the fuck out of here with your other time zones. By the way, if you live out on the East Coast or you're just in what some people would call Eastern time zone, just know I'll start referring to that as slapdick time zone. Okay, I already have that joke with John. I need you in on it, brother. Yeah, it starts at 6 tonight, Lord's time zone, 7 for slapdick time zone. Okay, let's see here. The biggest thing that I can tell you that I changed is Noah Verdal. Vedral? I don't know how to fucking say it, okay? I just know that he is the quarterback for Rutgers he was out the first 4 weeks. He played a little bit last week, and if he is going to play a full complement of plays tonight, I think you got to play him at 4,500. But I can't find anything that reliably tells me he's going to play all of them, right? It's like he had an injury in camp back in the fall, and he has been nursing it back, and I think they're trying to bring him back at a kind of a slow pace, but I'm not 100% sure that he's going to get to play all the plays, and I don't know what that percentage is. And when it comes to cash, it's really risky to do that, right? But at the same time, if we know that he is expected to play the whole game, you got to play a quarterback at 4,500. You got to. You just got to. So I'm going to be waiting to see that news, but as of right now, I can't put him in my cash lineup, which really sucks, because if you guys have already started messing around with the cash lineups, you got to be aware that there's just not a fucking punt tonight, right? It's always nice when you have that one $3,000 guy that just makes your lineup work, and all of the good cash plays tonight are all very fairly priced. And because of that, it makes, I think you're just going to have to fucking punt at one of your positions. You're either going to have to put Noah Verdal in, which is a big risk, or, and you might say, well, I know he's going to get me at least 9 points even if he splits time. Well, that's true, but then you also got to be aware that the quarterbacks for San Jose State and Memphis both probably have 30-point upside, right? And now you're basically giving up really huge upside to play a guy just because of his floor. I don't know if that's the right way you always want to go in cash, right? So many people play cash wrong because they're simply just looking for floors where they're never considering ceilings. So because of that, I don't know if I can play him. So I think, and if you're not going to play Noah Verdal, I'm almost sure you got to punt at one position. You're going to have to punt, and it sucks to do that in cash, but that's kind of what you got to do. And I think the best punt you can probably do is go try to get one of these teams with a higher total with a guy that's getting some targets, right? That seems like the best play. I think the running back situations. Like Anthony Grant seems really good he's just kind of a bell cow. He's probably going to be in a favorable game script at Nebraska, but you also have to consider that Rutgers actually has a decent run defense. Brandon Campbell, maybe he's the way you get some access to this Houston offense, and then you just fade Tune and Dell, because it's really hard to get Dell in a lineup. It is really hard to get him in a lineup. And he cashed me last week. He saved my ass last week by outscoring Franklin from UTSA. And I like him, but 7,900 with no punts, it's hard to get him in a cash lineup tonight. There's no punts. So maybe you save the money and you go Brandon Campbell. And then there's also and then you got these two options down here. Aiden Robbins, I really like him, but I will say 7,300 for a team total of only 23 points is kind of scary. So, this Kyrie Robinson at 5,500, maybe that's where you save the money. But I'm almost sure you got to go Cordero and Cooks with those targets and that much passing that they do. It's almost like you got to have them. They got a really high team total, right? So I'm trying to build a lineup that has Hennigan at the quarterback, Cordero at the super flex, or vice versa. It doesn't fucking matter. I think you almost got to run Cooks out there. He just at almost 8 targets a game at 5,200. You almost have to have him in there. But then at the same time, I don't want to just play all San Jose State guys, right? I don't think that stacking a single team in cash is very smart. Matter of fact, I think the smart thing to do in cash is almost play 8 independent players of each other, right? You want guys that are going to be independent of each other. So when you start stacking and you're doing correlations, well, now if one of those guys does poorly, it's almost for sure 2 of those guys does poorly. And if 2 of your guys do poorly in cash, you're usually fucked. Okay? So that's why I would say be very, very careful about taking, Cordero? I don't know how to say that. And double stacking him with Cooks and Lockhart. And then if you are going to double stack him with 2 receivers now, and then you want to throw Robinson in there, now you're really starting to get risky. If I'm playing cash in that game, I'm probably going Cordero, Robinson, and Cooks. But that's a lot. I mean, they got to basically get 31 points, right? They're going to have to score, and they're going to have to be moving the ball for all 3 of those guys to deliver what you need for a cash lineup to safely cash, right? So I will tell you, I think this Toa Tua guy is going to be pretty popular, but at 6,400 in a game that I think might be a slog, he probably is a viable cash play. I think I'd rather just go with safer plays, right? Teams with higher totals. That's what I'm going to do. He averages 17 rushes a game, which is one of the highest ones on the by the way, if you didn't see, you probably need to know this. If you didn't tell, we just started color coding these. They're color coded to their position, right? So Anthony Grant, see how he's that darker green because he gets 48 plays a game and he's really, really dark green on the 22 rushes. You can go compare that with any of the other rushing attempts per game and you'll notice he's way higher. So his is way lower. Then you go look at somebody like Samuel Brown. He only averages 8.4. So his green is not very dark, right? So that gives you an idea. So you can just kind of look at the color and be like, oh shit, Anthony Grant gets a lot of touches. But then notice he doesn't have shit when it comes to targets, right? So maybe you want to go get those points. So now Brandon Campbell, yeah, he only gets 13 receptions or 13 rushes a game, but he is getting almost 3 catches on his 3 targets a game. So that's what you need to look at there. We just color-coded that. I know it's a lot of color coding, but once you get used to it, it's all there to make it more friendly for your eyes and to be able to quickly analyze this and be able to do this in 15 minutes. Which, by the way, fucking burying the lead. Burying the fucking lead. If you're not still watching this video, I'm going to repeat this in every one of my videos for the next 4 days. You look at me and you look at me good. All right? I am George Washington, right? The editor is my right-hand man, so I guess that would be, Hamilton. By the way, if you haven't seen the fucking musical Hamilton, you go listen to that fucking thing, and you're welcome. It is the best piece of fucking art I have seen in the last 10 years. It is amazing, and how accurate it is, and how entertaining it is. Saw it 3 times live. Best entertainment I've ever had in my life. Fucking love it. So I'm Washington, and I am fucking taking on the British. The British is all the fucking tout sites, right? And I'm in dire need of some assistance, people. I got my right-hand man, my editor. But I got to tell you, you want to know who is at least a lieutenant colonel in my fucking army that's helping me take down the British? You look at me and you look at me good. You treat this man like royalty around here. His name is P. Lewis. He has automated this thing where we just plug in their names and it autofills all their stats. I mean, this would have took me and the editor to put in all the information, color code it, get everything ready, probably about 2 hours on a 4-game slate. Usually we spend about 5 hours on the big slate. We did this in 30 minutes last night. Specifically because of P. Lewis. That man is fucking royalty. You see his name, you buy him a beer. The guy is at least a lieutenant colonel in George Washington's army taking on the fucking British. By the way, I'm gonna use this analogy probably in the next 5 videos I make. So if you're one of those people that watches all my videos, get ready to hear it again. I don't give a shit. P. Lewis is my dude. He gets a big shout out. All right. Back to college football. I'm just very excited that I don't have a life, but I got to go to the gym on a Friday, which what I haven't got to do in 5 Fridays. So and that's only possible because of P. Lewis. What are we going to do? Start making a lineup. And if you have Hennigan and Cordero in there, who have the 2 highest team totals, you got quarterbacks that pass, and then you want to go get a nice, safe Anthony Grant or Trey Palmer. I think you probably want to get, for sure, one of these Nebraska guys in there, right? And then you want to run it in there with a Brandon Campbell. I mean, at some point, and if you even put Elijah Cooks in there, Elijah Cooks, 5,200 isn't great salary relief, especially if you want to get Aiden Robbins in there, which I think tonight is maybe a good night. If you can somehow cram Grant, Campbell, and Robbins into your lineup, or if you want to go Kyrie Robinson, the other, this is Robbins, that's Robinson. I think that's a very viable night for 3 running backs, as there's not a lot of target monsters on this slate, and the 2 target monsters we have in Palmer, I guess you could say 3. I'm not in love with playing Horton and Cash because he's 6,200 on a team with a terrible total. I just don't love that. So if you really, the only 2 real target monsters are Palmer and Dell, right? Both at about 9 a pop. But they're both very fairly priced. Like they're priced for those targets, right? There's no guys on here that are getting 8 targets. That's 3,000, right? So, by the way, this Ricky White, once again, I'm just not paying $7,000 in cash for a guy getting 7 targets with a team total of 23. I'm not going to do it. I think you're just going to have to get clever, and you're going to have to find a punt that you like at cash. If you like Charlie Ross, I don't hate that, but at some point, you can't play every fucking San Jose Shark. I don't know what their name is. I'm pretty sure that's a hockey team. So, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do for my last spot. I have a cash lineup I like quite a bit that I'm going to run out there, and it was a lot easier when I thought I could put Noah Vertel in there, right? Vedral? I don't know. I don't know how to say his name. Vedral. It's got to be it, right? It's not Verdal, or it'd be the R and the D would be mixed up. So, hey, I'm good at math. I'm not good at reading, you motherfather. So look, I'm never going to tell you how to make your lineups, but I will tell you it's not a 3x3 Rubik's Cube tonight. It's like a 5x5 Rubik's Cube, and really the hardest part is figuring out who's going to be that punt. Who's going to be that punt? Maybe Vovalek or something. I don't know. I got nothing for you, man. Yeah. I would probably try to go for a guy that's on the field a lot and gets to run a lot of routes. So that makes a lot of these Memphis guys viable. Notice I don't have any of them in cash, but the problem with Memphis is they fucking spread the rock so much, you're just fucking guessing. You're just guessing, Bob. You want to go play Nevada or something? But, who are you playing? I guess you could play Bell at 5,600. He's getting 7 targets a game. But, first of all, Nevada's not a very good passing offense. And second of all, he's only getting 4 receptions on those 7 targets. That's not real great. And 5,600 ain't exactly a punt price. To me, a punt is somebody under 4,000. I don't know. It's going to be tough. This is why we're going to be watching news. If I get word that Noah Vedral is expected to play all the snaps, I just think you got to get him in there. And then you probably take out Hennigan, or you can take out Cordero and go stack the other pieces of his team, right? I think that's almost what you got to do. I will tell you this. If you're playing GPPs tonight, probably shouldn't forget this. In GPPs, there's some really nice punts out there, right? I feel like this Noah Vedral guy, Clayton Tune, they're going to be criminally underowned for what they offer an upside, right? Guys that are overpriced, that don't get target or don't get as much production versus how many targets they get. This Tony Horton and Ricky White, if you want to pay up, are great pivots off of people like Nathaniel Dell and Trey Palmer, right? But more than anything, I would just stack games, right? Which of these games is going to be a shootout? I think most people are smart enough to know that you want to stay away from this Colorado State-Nevada game. I think the 2 games to target, obviously, are the ones that I have in the target color in purple over here, but Nebraska doesn't play very good defense. And if Rutgers can move the ball, if this Noah the guy can move the ball, and this game has sneaky shootout. It might be 17-14. I'm just saying, if you want a game that no one's going to stack, this is a very sneaky game to stack because he has the whole hometown narrative. I believe he's from Lincoln and he's playing at Rutgers, and so he's, maybe if you want to play a narrative, I feel like this is a sneaky game. You run it with him, you pick 1 or 2 of his pass catchers, you run it back with Grant and Palmer. No one's going to have that build. That game shoots out, you win all the monies. Houston has that 28-point total, but I watch Houston every week because they're on these fucking slapdick Friday night slates every week, and they're just not that good. Like, Nathaniel Dell gets there, but fuck, he only gets there through volume, not through efficiency. Clayton Tune has just been really bad this year, so I could see this game getting a little more sloggy than normal. The only piece of this game I really love is I'd probably want to run Hittigan and run it back with Brandon Campbell. Maybe. I think the second, if I had to rank the games, I would definitely say this San Jose State game, even though the total is not as high as the Houston-Memphis game, I just like a lot of pieces of San Jose State. I feel like UNLV has some decent high-end run-back options. Just something to consider, man. I'm not playing GPPs tonight. I'm going to try to make my 1 cash lineup, my 5 out of 5 Rubik's Cube, and that's what I'm going to do. And I haven't figured it out yet. I'm really just hoping I see some news. I will only share it with the Discord, of course, and that's what it's going to be. So, anyways, long story short, I'm only playing cash, but there is some sneaky GPP plays out there tonight. You treat P. Lewis like fucking royalty that he is. The editor is Hamilton. Go watch the musical. What is wrong with you? Just go listen to the intro song, Alexander Hamilton. The intro. How does a bastard orphan, son of a whore and a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of a forgotten... Just go fucking... If the first song doesn't grab you by the nuts, there's something wrong with you. You're going to be like, hey, I kind of like that. Then you go listen to the second song. You'll be like, oh, I like this too. And then you listen to the third song. You'll be like, all right, I'm fucking hooked. And before you know it, 3 hours of your life is gone and you're a smarter, more informed person. You're welcome. You're welcome. You do it. You do it now, you motherfather. It's the best. And by the way, if you don't know any history, it'll help you not be such an ignorant donkey. All right, I got to go get started on the Saturday slate. I got to go do it. The big guy never rests. See you, bye.